Hello everyone and welcome to the final flip through of my 2023 reading journal. It's quite bittersweet to say that because whilst I have had a bit of a challenge with this journal over the year of 2023 because of the paper, I am really sad to see it go, and I'm filming this in the middle of January and I really missed this journal, which I never expected to be what would happen after using it for a year. Now don't get me wrong, I am grateful that I am now able to use a lot more of my supplies, but I really adapted to the way this paper worked for me and how I could utilize it over the year of 2023. So yeah, really sad to see it go, but I'm going to do a final flip through because I've done a flip through of it every quarter of 2023 and it feels fitting to end the chapter here with a completed journal. So without any more faffing around, let's get into the final flip through of my 2023 reading journal. I'm already on the Goodreads challenge page, and as you can see, it is now complete. My goal was 150 books. I met that on the 26th of November. I've jotted that down there, and I ended on 168 books for the year of 2023. In 2022 I did 208, so I'm glad to see that I was able to drop down significant amount but still meet my goal. Again, I am very grateful that I have the ability to read as many books as I do. I know some people would find 168 books very out of their range, but I think as long as we're enjoying the reading that we're doing, then that's all that matters. And I would have to say that 2023 was a year that I learned a lot about my reading style and what I do and don't like. I definitely DNF'd a lot more books over the year, so perhaps that's why 2022 had more reads, who knows. Moving on to my bookshelf, I really am happy to see that the first full set of bookshelves are complete, and I'm happy with the colour scheme that I went with. It's very bright and colourful, lots of purple, but I'm really happy because that means 4 stars. I am a little sad that the last book of the year ended up on its own little shelf, or row of the shelf I should say, and that it's all by itself. It would have been nicer if I could have completed here, but I'm not going to diminish the fact that I finished that book there. Yeah, really happy with how this page came together. I'm so glad that I chose to cut out the books on some white dot grid paper that I had in a journal that was not in use, and put it in for colouring it in because it really stands out and I didn't have to worry about what pens to use. I really wish that I had gone ahead and used a lot more white paper for elements like that throughout the book, instead of just trailing on or finding other ways to endure, but for what it is here, it's a really nice pop and really helpful. Didn't even need the shelf here. I have hopefully decreased the amount of books that I have available on shelves for 2024, so hopefully I haven't wasted another page in my new one. I don't feel like this is a complete waste though, because I refer to this page a lot, and I was thinking maybe I could put some of my favourite reads on this section here. I'm not sure, to fill it in, but I don't really need to. I just, yeah, it feels a little bit empty here, but it's not like it's going to affect me now that I'm not using the journal. My favourite page to look at every month was the Day's Red Pixel. I just loved watching the trends come together, and seeing it completed makes me so happy. I'm really happy with doing this type of tracking, and I have set up more like this in my 2024 journal because I just really enjoy it. I'm happy with the colour scheme. That purple pen really pops so nicely against the red and the green, and I'm happy that I was able to complete this without making too many mistakes. It was a worry of mine because I did feel like on black paper this was going to become really messy, but I think it looks quite effective. Looking at the viewfinder right now, I think it looks quite effective with all the colours and stuff, so very happy, and I can't wait to fill in my 2024 one. This page I just recently set up in my last video. I'll have that linked up below. It was me filling in all the pages left in my 2023 journal, as well as wrapping up December. And I finally have all my covers for the books that I read over 2023 that were my favourites. The top 5 are very much so in concrete placement, but the rest are all kind of loosely set. There are some books that I look at now and go, maybe that I could have put them in a different spot, or there is one book that's actually missing. This header has given me so many nightmares. This metallic washi is not happy to be used with other washi, so I've always had to stick it down, and I've never had to look at this page, but every time I do now, that header keeps popping off. But as I was saying, there's one book that I accidentally missed off when I was doing this, and I could have put it on when I was printing out the covers, but I wanted to keep it with the same, tied into the same set of books that I used on Instagram, and that was put up, and then I remembered the book that I wanted to put on the list. So yeah, I am going to try and do I can't remember what it's called, something matrix. I will put it across the bottom of the screen. It's an idea that I've gotten from 𝓤𝓱𝓮𝓻, and my very dear book friend Monica also used it to find her top 12 and put them into the correct order. So we will have to try that at the end of the year and see if that will make it a lot easier. I'm not sure either way, but these are 23 books that I really, really loved over 2023, and I'm not mad about any of them being on this page. It's just hard for me to put books up against each other and go, did I love you more? Because I read them at different times in my life, and they would have been different hitting moments, if that makes sense. So I find it really challenging to say these are all 5 stars, but they're definitely not on the same level as each other. On to the author A to Z challenge and the 23 books in 2023. I completed my author A to Z challenge I think in November. I only had the letter N to go, and I completed that. And then the 23 books in 2023, you can see I have not completed the last book on the list, and I made peace with that in December. I was trying really, really hard to get through them, but you'll notice that this challenge is missing from my 2024 setup because I absolutely hate it. I just feel a lot of pressure from it, and I am definitely someone who changes and evolves over the year with my reading tastes. Like, that's really weird to say because I always will love a certain type of book, always, and I think that it's really weird to say that I evolve, but essentially when I put these books down on the list, at that time I want to read them, but I might not necessarily see them as a priority when I get to later on in the year. So in 2022 I wrote the entire list out and really struggled to complete it. I think I took a few books off because there was no way that I was going to end up reading them, changed them out, and then completed it, which is kind of cheating. And so over 2023 I wrote the first half of the list out, and then in July wrote the second half, thinking that doing that would mean I would have more control over the situation and limit the idea of not enjoying something, but unfortunately it didn't work for me. So I am not doing this, but I'm happy with the amount of books that I got through, and quite a few on this list were really good reads, so I'm happy that I gave it one final go, but at least now I know it's not a challenge for me to continue on with. The TBR Book of the Month and the Read the Rainbow challenges were also really fun over 2023. I have scrapped this one, not because I didn't enjoy it. I think it's a great idea. There were a couple of months where I didn't want to read the book in that month, but I normally caught up, except for with Hotel Magnifique. I don't know why I keep putting it off, but I did. And then I've got 2 books that I did DNF. But overall, had a really good time. There's a lot of 4 stars on here. And, well, actually, those aren't 4 stars. Never mind. The main thing that I took away from this was it really helped bring down my physical TBR. And so in 2024, I changed that to working on my Kindle TBR. So still like the concept of it, and would definitely do this in the future if my physical TBR gets out of control. So I went through my physical TBR and found that out of 129 fantasy novels that I have only 14 unread, and out of 64 romances I only have 8. So I've got 22 unread books on my shelf, which is really surprising to me because I thought there'd be a lot more. And so I think that'll be quite achievable to get through this year, but at the same time I didn't want to put them onto one of these trackers. Over to here I've got the Read the Rainbow, and really enjoyed this challenge. I wanted to try and keep the covers as simple as possible. I know that Sing Me to Sleep is not quite plain and one solid block of colour, and there is a little bit of change in the Lore Olympus one as well, but overall really happy with how this came together, and I'm doing it again in 2024. And then after those challenges we flip straight into January, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. If you've watched all these flip throughs, then you know it's the same content over and over at the first portion of this book. For January my theme was Sorcerer of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, and each month I flipped between a fantasy and a romance novel to base my aesthetic off of, and pretty much the same setup every month. I did skip a page, however, by accident, and so I filled these in on camera, and I put a monthly themes list together, and then I put my book club reads over here. I really enjoyed having the monthly themes page. I think it's really cute to look back on. I didn't have a theme for December, I just went with Christmas, so I just stuck that in there. And then I'm glad that we were able to put down all 12 reads for the fantasy book club I belong to. The romance book club kind of fell off towards the end, which was no fault of anyone. I think we just all got really busy, and so this isn't a book club that I'll be tracking so much in 2024, but happy that I've got a spot for the fantasy one that I belong to, and I like the covers aspect. I'm not doing that this year, I don't think, so I think it's really cool though. I might have to change my page around. Oops, skipping a page. February was Set on You by Amy Lee, and I absolutely love this theme because I went really into the decoration and the idea of it. I really had to research for the aesthetic myself because there wasn't a lot of aesthetic pictures put together when I put this into my journal, and I even made the little Instagram captions myself with one of those fake Instagram things because I wanted to put the quotes of the story in those little captions. I think they're really cute. Went all out. I absolutely love it. It's so Valentine-esque that I'm not even a fan of Valentines, but like I just really love this outlook for February in a journal. It's just so pretty. Moving on into March, we have These Violent Delights by 𝓤𝓲𝓭 and this is a historical fantasy set in Shanghai. Absolutely loved this world, and I really wanted to go with elegance and keep it really simple, which I think I really achieved. Also loved using my Cricut to make these headers, and it was a game changer, which you'll see there are a few more headers made that way throughout this journal. It meant that I didn't have to make them myself and colour them in and try and figure out the pens that I had to use. So at this point in the journal I was very thrilled with my decision to use my Cricut. And then over into April, and I'm still a little bit sad about how this one came together. This is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I think I got the aesthetics right, but I didn't have the colours that I wanted. And then a week after I set it up, I got some new pens, and that would have been more to the spring type kind of colours that I was looking to use. I just didn't have them at that point. It's still okay. I do like the elements with the paper and the stamped headers. I think it's really, really cute, but it's not one of my favourites. And then flipping into May, which I absolutely loved, and don't think it got much social media attention, simply because this was at a point where my life got extremely busy personally. I touched on it a little bit, but my grandmother was put into a rest home over 2023, and I had to sell her house. And clearing out a house full of 15 years worth of memories and essentially hoarding took a lot of time and effort, and by this time I was really drained, and it definitely shows in May and June and a little bit of July that I wasn't as creative. I really liked this Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas setup though. Absolutely loved the concept of using the entire series, but just didn't get to share it enough with everyone. I did read it. Oh no, I didn't read a lot. They were all DNFs. I thought that was quite good to get to 15, and then I realised I had actually put in the effort to put down my DNFs. Yeah, not happy with the yellow though, but other than that, it was a cute little theme. And then we get to June, which is one of my favourites, and I'm so gutted because the theme for this is just on point. This is With You Forever, one of my favourite 𝓤𝓲𝓕𝓲 books, and I just love it so much. It's also my birthday month, but I didn't get to use it much. This page is still one of my favourites that I've ever set up. I just love the plaid details and everything with the foil headers. As you can see, I only read 8 books in June. I was at a very stressed out point in my life, so sad I didn't get to use it, but I loved this setup a lot. Then flipping into July, and we have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. And if you've been around long enough, you know I bleat on about this series so much. I was not happy with my creative endeavours with this. I mean, it's got the vibes and everything of book 1 in this series down, but I don't know, there was just something about it that I didn't enjoy. Maybe it's the pens that I used, I'm really not sure, but I just look at it and go, it's not the one that I would have done now if I was doing it again. Still very happy though that I got to represent my favourite book in 2023 in my journal. And then we're going to flip into the brightest one, which is August, and this is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I got it as an ARC earlier in the year and I wanted to represent it for a romance, so we went all bold and beautiful for August. I got paint pens in that month, and you can tell it was my first time using them because the lines are very thick. But I really liked using all the brighter colours in my Jelly Roll collection, and I think this one is really effective to look at. And then into September, where experiments started to happen. So this month is Fourth Wing related by the book is by Rebecca Yarros, and I used these stickers by Rose K Paper Co. I will link them below, and they are Fourth Wing inspired. It was my first time deviating away from using Pinterest as my vibe and aesthetics, and whilst I like the stickers, there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. I wish I kind of kept with the aesthetics, and I did make my own stickers to match in from Canva, but overall this month was sort of like weird for me. It was the first time we did a Bookopoly board as well in the journal. You'll find that there's a second one coming up, and I'm really happy with how the board came together, but the other elements just I'm not sure. I really do like this page though. It's one of those things where when you're experimenting, you don't know what it's going to turn out like, and by the time we hit September I was tired of doing the same thing. I am a Gemini, I do like some change, but this, yeah, I don't know. I wish I'd stuck with doing the aesthetics from Pinterest. Moving into October, we have The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston, one of my favourite reads of 2022. It was a really cute paranormal ghost romance, and I really wanted to use it for October. I love the foil headers. I know they're a pain to look at on camera, but the hollow of them just really looks nice in person. and this theme was really easy to put together. Again, we've got a second Bookopoly board here because the creator surprised us by doing it a month later. So the first one was an old board that we recycled. A few friends and I recycled and did that one together, and then this is the new one for 2023. And yeah, it's all the same. I did change things up for the reading log because I was trying to experiment for my B5 journal because I knew I was going to get a different journal, but I absolutely hate how I set it up here. So experiments are good, but I don't like it when I don't enjoy it. So it's not the worst thing, but I hated the headers and everything. So this is not one of my favorites for that portion of the month, at least. Flipping into November, and I think this is probably my favorite setup of the entire year. This is Caravel by Stephanie Garber. Absolutely love this world so much, and I went all out. So I'm very happy with how like cluttered everything looks, and like it's just so on point with how I see this world. And I love the headers that I printed out on some decorative paper. Just love everything about this. It's one of my favorite ones to set up. I do admit that there was a lot of red here, but otherwise really happy. And I was quite happy with how the reading log came together compared to the month prior. I did read a lot of books in November, so I had to add in a tip in for the first time, and it's not done very nicely, but it's there. And then flipping over into December, the last month in this journal, and I didn't have any Christmassy ideas for a romance, and so I just decided I would use all the covers of my favorite books for each month and make a theme out of it. I just really wanted to use this new Christmas paper that I'd gotten in as well, so it worked out, but I do kind of wish that I had just done another romance, even if it wasn't Christmassy, and gone with that, but never mind. We are here. It is done. I did also get my pastel 𝓬𝓲𝓭 pens in and used them to set this up, and whilst I can read them in person and you can kind of see them quite well on camera, I am not happy with going from gel for the rest of the book to this pastel pen look. It's cute, but yeah, I think it was a bit of a fail. So that is the rest of December, and then you'll have seen the new video. This page was just recently done, and then we only have one 2-page spread before it goes into, you know, scrap bits, and where I was testing my pens out and choosing all the colours and stuff. Also, I know I've pointed this out before, but why do we always put the word like hi or hello when we're testing pens? Like what is the point behind that? Yeah, I was doing this all with a friend, so like the just wording and everything was random, but yeah, that's the end of the journal. I'm so sad that we're finally at the end of it. Really sad to say goodbye to this journal, but I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I hope that if you're looking at using a blackout journal, you're not completely put off like I was in the beginning. There are ways around it, and it can be enjoyable, and I've really enjoyed noting down everything that happened in 2023 in this journal. It's now time to retire it to my journal shelf on my bookshelf and move on into 2024, and I hope that you'll continue to follow the journey with me. I do have my flip throughs for 2024 filmed, so you can find that in the description below, and I am starting to populate that journal, and I can't wait to share some new setups with you in that journal, as well as some new videos in general. So until we next meet, I hope you have fun reading or journaling, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone!